Good afternoon. I'm Sebastian Hallum Clarke, a 15-year-old Scots College student. Now, that's my day job. I'm also a technology services exporter, whose software products have been used in over 100 countries. My products, Quicksand, Broomstick, iCloud Drive, and MacDrop Any, harness the power of the cloud to make life easier. This map shows where the users of one of my apps, MacDrop Any, are located, ranging from the USA in the lead all the way through to Bangladesh with just a couple of users. I never expected this to happen. For me, programming was just a way of solving the problems I encountered in my own computer use. I loved being able to see a need and quickly design a solution for it. But then, when I released my apps, I was amazed at how quickly they were discovered and talked about around the world. And people were willing to pay me for them. It gives me great satisfaction to know that my apps have been used over 300,000 times over the past 2 years. This experience has convinced me just how important programming is for New Zealand's future. Sir Paul Callaghan himself strongly advocated for New Zealand to move away from low-wage activities, such as tourism, and instead focus on building high-value, high-technology companies which harness our creativity and skills. Let's listen to him for a moment.
So what's the story? Why can't we have more of those companies? They don't produce greenhouse gases. They don't require land. They don't use energy. They don't dump nitrates in our streams. They live in lovely buildings with lovely gardens around them, with lots of people having a good life and enjoying themselves, and they're enormously beneficial for New Zealand.
Programming fits right into this vision. Today, I'm going to share with you my passion for programming, why it's so important for New Zealand's future, and what I think we should do to create the talent New Zealand needs. So, what exactly is programming? A program is a solution to a problem, an organized set of instructions which allow us to control a computer. And it's absolutely everywhere. And of course, computers, phones, and the internet rely on it. But then there's a whole host of other everyday objects which use it too. Other uses of programming are far less obvious. Any complicated system, such as air traffic control, relies on programming. Buildings and new chemical compounds are all simulated before manufacture. And in medicine, key technologies, such as MRIs and new drug developments, are all today enabled by programming. In the future, all important discoveries and innovations will rely on computer programming. Developments will increasingly be driven by alliances of the traditional sciences and technology, with diverse teams working together, breaking down barriers, and doing things we've not even dreamed of. Our programmers and scientists are already working together to produce some world-leading innovations. Here are just a couple of examples from the recent Wellington Gold Awards. TerraLink has this really smart project called StreetCam 3D, which uses a combination of GPS, imagery, and LiDAR sensors mounted on the back of a ute. Capturing 1.3 million geopositioned light points per second, StreetCam 3D produces amazingly detailed 3D models of our cities and countryside just by driving past. These models are being used for national defense, civil defense, and security purposes, as well as environmental management. Volpara by Matakina is an example of a product with enormous export potential. Differences in breast density make it hard for doctors to detect breast cancers. Volpara is the world's first automated breast density assessment software, and it's a great tool to help doctors improve their diagnoses. The software analyzes mammograms and transforms them into detailed 3D density maps. Volpara saves lives. These are just two examples. In doing my research, I was blown away by how many innovative, programming-focused technology companies we've got out there. These companies hold enormous potential for New Zealand's economic future. They're not resource-hungry. They produce quality employment. They don't pollute, and distance is no barrier. If we want to position New Zealand to leverage our scientific, technological, and creative strengths to make world-leading breakthroughs, we're going to need a steady supply of top-class programmers. Yet, Our pay is fantastic. It's listed as the second highest paid category on Trade Me's salary guide, and there are tons of jobs out there. Yet I've spoken to a number of leading New Zealand technology companies, and unfortunately, they're all telling us the same thing. They can't find enough programmers. This limits the amount of money they can invest in new, exciting developments. This shortage is confirmed by programming's appearance on MBIE's long-term skills shortage list. So, what's causing this shortage? Firstly, programming has an image problem. It's considered to be uncool and geeky. Because people don't understand it, they're afraid it would be too complicated, too boring, or just not for them. As a result, many bright people never even consider it as a possible career option. Now, this perception couldn't be further from the truth. Programming is exciting, it's fun, it's collaborative, and intensely satisfying when difficult problems are overcome. It's entrepreneurial, and you get a chance to make a real difference in people's lives. The second problem is that we're teaching our kids to be consumers of technology rather than creators. Learning how to use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel is the modern equivalent of typing lessons. Yet far too often, this is what suffices for ICT lessons in New Zealand schools, especially in the early years. Now, in my case, I was lucky. My Year 4 teacher, Mr. Hampton, introduced me to Scratch, an MIT-developed programming language for kids. I made simple games, and without even being aware it was happening, I was taken through a doorway into a fantastic new world of structure, creativity, elegant logic, and opportunity. From then, I played around on my parents' computer and created simple applets. I saved up to buy my own one and participated in online programming communities. I taught myself more advanced programming skills before releasing my first truly useful app. The next thing, at age 13, my products were being reviewed in Lifehacker and the Wall Street Journal Online, and websites around the world in Spanish, German, Japanese, and Norwegian. As they say, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog. My story shows just how easy it is to get started, how low the barriers to entry are, and how inherently global the industry is. I want to open the door so that more kids can feel the excitement I felt. To get more computer science graduates, we need more people interested in programming in high school. But if you wait till you're my age, you're probably already too late. We need to get to kids much earlier and show them that their dreams can be realized. If they're dreaming of being an astronaut, superhero, or fairy princess, we need to show them that programmers are the wizards of the future. My vision to achieve this, I'm calling the Genesis Project. I'm proposing a fully supported learning package aimed at years 5 and 6. It's compatible with the current technology curriculum, which is very broad and would give teachers the confidence to choose programming for their technology unit by providing them with easy-to-follow lesson plans and support materials. The target would be kids aged 9 to 11, while they're still open and non-judgmental, and is founded on the principle that kids love to make things. This is supported by what's going on in the UK, where hundreds of schools are participating in a voluntary programming initiative called Code Club, aimed at ages 9 to 11. Now, of course, not all schools have enough computer resources. For this, I would suggest the Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card, fully featured computer developed in the UK for teaching basic computer science. The best thing about the Raspberry Pi is its price. For only $100, even less with the economies of scale, you get a fully featured computer, keyboard, mouse, and screen. So what would kids be learning in the Genesis Project? Well, I'd start them off with Scratch. Scratch is brilliant for this age group because it lets kids take control to make games and animations using its intuitive drag and drop interface. At the same time, kids would be learning core logic concepts, which are fundamental for everyone, not just computer scientists, and and would help kids learning in maths and science. After Scratch, the next step would be to move from programming for the screen to programming for the real world. The great thing about the Raspberry Pi is that it can interface with systems in the home, so kids can feel the power of programming which has an impact on their everyday life. For example, kids could create an automatic cat food dispenser, or a bird activity monitor, or set up spy cameras around their home. For this, kids would need to learn a more advanced programming language, Python, one of the world's most popular languages. There are already lots of great resources out there for learning Python, such as codeacademy.com. Developing the Genesis project would need to be a collaboration between primary school teachers, willing technology companies, and academics. By bringing everyone together, we'd ensure that the program would inspire our kids, that the right resources would be in place, and that it would be practical in a primary school classroom. So, to start off with, I'd propose a 3 to 6 month pilot with a group of schools from a range of deciles working to refine the program. And then on to national rollout, so that kids all over the country can experience the magical power of programming and see what wonderful places it can take them. Let's use the Genesis project to open this door and help create the talent New Zealand needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian. You didn't happen to have a chat with Heki Parata before she left, did you?
No, I didn't.
Just quickly tell me what your apps did.
Well, I've got a number of apps.
Well, what did Quicksand do?
Quicksand's my most recent one. It
Does it do?
It syncs your 50 most recently opened files with the cloud. So normally, if you're going to work or school, you've got to remember to bring your files on a USB stick or email them. With Quicksand, you can forget about that. Your 50 most recently opened files are with you wherever you go, wherever you need them.
What about Broomstick?
Broomstick clears the icons in your menu bar. On a Mac, you've got icons in your menu bar, and some apps don't behave properly, and they don't let you remove those icons. So Broomstick lets you get rid of those icons.
Are you rich beyond my wildest dreams now, then?
I wouldn't quite say that, but I have been able to buy a ticket to Paris for this Christmas, and I should be able to pay for my first year of university.
I take it you've afforded to buy a ticket back again.
I have, yes.
I'm beginning to feel a little sorry for schools, what with Hayley and now you. Do you imagine they'd have to drop something in order to do this?
Well, I think that's a challenge. And the great thing is school teachers are very dynamic. They manage to fit so many things into their day. And programming is just such a vital thing.
Do they need to know how they do it? In other words, if you're short of computer programmers, you're going to be short of teachers to teach it, right?
Well, I think the fact is that teachers can actually do this. I mean,
Even teachers can.
Even primary school teachers.
Yes.
I mean, I managed to work it out. I'm sure a teacher who's qualified to teach can work it out with supporting materials and lesson plans to make it all easier.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much.